The final whistle blew, but man, the Santiago Bernabéu was still a total mess. Talk about a Sunday night for the history books. Real Madrid, the giants of Spanish football, just completely fell apart, losing a shocking 2-0 at home to Celta Vigo, who are, let's be honest, just a mid-table team. But it wasn't just the score that had everyone talking, it was how they lost. As the clock wound down into stoppage time, the frustration just absolutely blew up, leading to 2 red cards that left Real Madrid playing with just 9 men on the field by the end. Now, for Celta Vigo, this was their big moment, their first league win against Real Madrid since 2014. And get this, it was their first victory ever at the Bernabéu in almost 20 years. The roar of disbelief from the home crowd was practically screaming, a total contrast to Celta Vigo's absolutely wild celebrations. What started as just a regular La Liga game quickly turned into this insane story of injuries, blown chances, and a total meltdown for one of the biggest clubs on the planet. I mean, how does a team stacked with superstars like Kylian Mbappé and Arda Güler just get absolutely hammered like that, right on their home ground? Well, the answers really point to a night full of unexpected heroes, insane pressure, and a full-blown crisis that could totally derail Real Madrid's entire season. Trouble for Real Madrid started brewing super early, even before the first whistle blew. Their star defender, Trent Alexander-Arnold, was already out, sidelined for 2 months with a thigh injury. That's a massive hit for him in his debut season. Then, barely 23 minutes into the game, another one of their defensive mainstays, Éder Militão, had to limp off with a hamstring problem. That left Real's backline looking even thinner and forced an early tactical shake-up. But even with all those injuries, you'd still expect Real Madrid's attacking firepower to shine through. Kylian Mbappé, their big money signing, chipped a shot just over the bar, a moment that really could have changed everything. Arda Güler, another bright young talent, also shot just wide from close range. It was a sign of the wasted chances that would really plague the team all night long. But then, Celta Vigo, the definite underdogs here, totally seized their moment. Just after halftime, Williot Swedberg, a name not many expected to see in the headlines, found the back of the net with a brilliant flicked finish right into the bottom corner. It was his first league goal of the season, a moment of pure genius that absolutely silenced the Bernabéu crowd and totally set the stage for an unforgettable upset. Manager Xabi Alonso, who was already feeling the heat after recent talks with club president Florentino Pérez about the team's dip in form, just watched on. You could practically see his frustration building, especially when he even picked up a yellow card himself as tensions started to boil over. As the second half really got going, Real Madrid kept pushing hard for an equalizer. But Celta Vigo's defense just wouldn't budge, fueled by the belief they could almost taste a historic upset. You could feel Real Madrid's desperation growing with every minute that ticked by. Their attacks became more frantic, but also less precise. And then, the real kicker. Right after Álvaro Carreras got sent off, Celta Vigo wasted no time cashing in on the man advantage. And who else but Williot Swedberg to deliver the decisive strike, again. That second goal from him pretty much wrapped up the upset, leaving the Bernabéu crowd in stunned silence, their hopes for a comeback completely shattered. But the drama wasn't over there. Then, in a chaotic display of frustration and completely losing their heads, Real Madrid just imploded in stoppage time. Both fullbacks, Fran Garcia and Álvaro Carreras, got red cards, leaving the Spanish giants with just 9 men on the pitch. Seeing 2 Real Madrid players sent off in stoppage time, looking utterly lost, painted a pretty grim picture of a team in total disarray. It was a moment that just perfectly summed up how the entire night unraveled for them. A global superclub beaten 2-0 on their own turf, failing to score, and ending the match in truly embarrassing fashion. The final whistle didn't bring any relief. It was more like a harsh wake-up call, showing just how deep the crisis in Madrid truly is. Right after that shocking loss, manager Xabi Alonso faced the cameras, and you could hear the mix of defiance and urgency in his voice. He admitted the loss left a really sour taste, saying, "We've just got to turn the page, and fast. Look, it's only 3 points. We've got the Champions League game against City to bounce back in, and get this bad taste out of our mouths." But let's be real, it's way more complicated than that. This defeat landed right after some serious crisis talks between Alonso and the club's main man, Florentino Pérez, where they were basically talking about Real Madrid's really worrying slump in form. And those 2 late red cards, which basically showed the team completely lost their cool, just cranked up the pressure even more on Alonso's tactics, how he manages the squad, and whether he's really got the dressing room under control. Then there's the injury crisis. Alexander-Arnold is out for 2 months, and now Militão's joined him on the sidelines, which totally exposes a huge weakness in Real Madrid's defense. And that's especially bad with that massive challenge from Manchester City just around the corner in the Champions League. This isn't just about 3 points, folks. It's about the mental game, the big questions popping up about squad depth, how they're handling player fitness, and the desperate need for reaction before their season completely goes off the rails. For Celta Vigo, this wasn't just any win, it was a massive moment, a victory they'll be talking about for years. Their first league win against Real Madrid in over 10 years, and their first ever at the Bernabéu in nearly 2 decades, gives them a huge shot in the arm and a much-needed push away from the relegation zone. And Williot Swedberg, the unlikely hero scoring 2 goals? He'll go down in club history, no doubt about it. But the real shocker here goes way beyond just what it means for the La Liga standings. I mean, a global superclub like Real Madrid, packed with superstars, getting absolutely hammered 2-0 at home, ending with 9 men, and not even managing to score. That's always going to make headlines. It's the kind of result that sparks endless debates on sports shows, podcasts, and social media, with everyone picking apart every single moment of that collapse. Now, with Real Madrid looking ahead to their massive Champions League clash against Manchester City, this defeat is a brutal wake-up call, showing just how vulnerable even the biggest teams can be. Can Xabi Alonso rally his troops and steer them through these choppy waters, or does this loss actually hint at a much deeper crisis that could totally derail their season? The whole football world is watching now, waiting to see if this was just a temporary stumble, or the beginning of a much, much bigger fall.